It's UofL Today on 93.9 The Ville. Here's your host, Mark Hebert.
Welcome to UofL Today with Mark Hebert on 93.9 The Ville. We are so glad you're joining us again today. Today's program we'll go about 30 minutes or so, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the Ali Institute at the University of Louisville. Also going to be talking about entrepreneurship at the University of Louisville and a big event that's coming up. So here's what we're going to have for you in the next 30 minutes. Coming up in the second half of the show, the founder of AOL, Steve Case, is coming to Louisville and UofL. He'll be talking about entrepreneurship and how UofL fits into the new wave of entrepreneurship. And we'll talk to PNC Bank's Chuck Denny and the head of the UofL Institute for Product Realization, David Adams, about the importance of Case's visit. But first, most people know about Muhammad Ali's connection to Louisville athletics. He loves UofL sports. His son played baseball here. The Ali set up a baseball scholarship at UofL, and Muhammad and Lonnie have been to several UofL football and basketball games. But you may not know about an academic and research program named after Ali at UofL. Enid Trucio Haynes is a law professor at UofL, but she is also interim director of the Muhammad Ali Institute for Peace and Justice. And with her is Cortez Flippins, who is a junior at UofL, and he is an Ali scholar. So welcome to both of you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So glad you're here. Well, it has been a busy week, I'm sure, for you, Enid, as the interim director of the Muhammad Ali Institute for Peace and Justice. We got the word about Muhammad Ali's death a few days ago, and the funeral and everything that's been going on in Louisville. So it's been busy for you, I suspect.
Yes, it has been, and we mourn the loss of Muhammad Ali, and he inspires all of the work of the Ali Institute. So it's a particular loss for our program, the Ali Scholars Program, and the entire institute and all of our work. So
well said, and for the University of Louisville as well, and everybody
Absolutely.
in Louisville, actually.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about the Ali Institute. What is it? Enid, why don't you start and talk a little bit about it, and then Cortez, you can tell us a little bit about your experience.
Wonderful. So the Ali Institute is an academic and research institute at the University of Louisville designed to engage in community engagement and to promote social change. And we do that through several different ways. We have an Ali Scholars Program, which is a 2-year scholarship opportunity for students at the University of Louisville who learn about social change and peace building and community building through a curriculum that happens during the first year of the program. In the second year of the program, and in between the first and second year of the program, we go on an international student learning journey where students can learn about peace and justice and social change in another setting, in a global setting. We just returned from a trip to Peru, and where the students spent 2 weeks visiting with a number of different local NGOs and other community organizations, as well as government agencies, and which provides for them the opportunity to understand, really think about how social change might happen back here in the United States. The second year of the scholarship program involves a community-engaged project that leads towards some element of social change. And the scholars themselves right now are brainstorming about what they want to do. And at the staff at the Ali Institute, our job is to help make that happen for them. And so we're looking forward to the work of the Ali Scholars Program in the next year, and thinking about how they can be agents of social change in our community and nationally and globally.
Cortez, I want to get to you in a minute, talk about your experience.
Yes, sir.
But one thing I want to mention is the way this whole Ali Institute came about. Can you kind of talk about that, Enid, about how the Muhammad Ali Center and the Institute and UofL all kind of work together?
Yes, absolutely. So the Institute was established in 2001, 2002, that academic year, and it came about through the collaboration in thinking about creating the Muhammad Ali Center, which is a wonderful museum that highlights the many works of Muhammad Ali, and the desire to have a research and academic focus. And the thought at the time was that ideally should be set in a university environment. And so the Muhammad Ali Institute for Peace and Justice was created at the same time that the Muhammad Ali Center was conceived. And we were lucky because we were at a university, so the Institute had the opportunity to get up and running, and we began our operations in 2001. The center came online and was available for visitors as of 2005. They just celebrated their 10-year anniversary. And in 2005, that's when the Ali Institute established its Muhammad Ali Ali Scholars Program. And we've now had 6 cohorts of scholars come through the program.
And each of those cohorts is, 12 students?
It depends. It varies over the years, anywhere ranging from 6 to 12 students. This is our largest cohort this year. We had the most applications that we've ever had last spring, and so we were delighted to be able to offer scholarships to this large group of students.
And one of them is Cortez Flippins, right?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
On being a scholar. Now, you get a little bit of money with this, right? It's,
Yes.
$500 a semester?
$500 a semester, yes,
a
sir.
semester, okay. And what are you studying, Cortez?
I'm studying marketing, and I'm thinking about minoring in finance. I
Okay.
haven't decided yet. But
Okay. So you're in the business school.
yes, sir.
So that's tough.
It's very tough. It's very tough. Yes,
How
sir.
you doing in your studies?
I'm doing very well. Right now I have a 3.5, so I'm doing okay.
Very good.
Yeah, I'm
No,
doing
you're
okay.
doing better than good. All right.
Yes.
So the Ali Scholars Program, what has it meant to you? What has that brought to you? What have you learned?
Well, to be any scholar is a good thing, but to be a Muhammad Ali scholar is such an honor. I feel like because I grew up in the same neighborhood as Muhammad Ali that he grew up in, within like 2 blocks away, well, the same community.
Over there near Grand Avenue?
Uh-huh. Well,
Okay.
I'm from Hazel Avenue, 32nd
Okay.
at Hazel.
Yep.
He's from 32nd and Grand.
Yep.
So walking past his house every day, it's just like having that moment of feeling that the greatest came from your neighborhood. So it lets you know that you can do anything. Like, he fought against the world in a time where everyone was against him just because of his race and religion. So I know that I have no excuse not to do great things for my community as well.
Did you have to write an essay?
Yes, sir.
What did you write in your essay to get this scholarship?
Well, that's basically what
That's
I
what
said.
you wrote?
Yeah, basically what I said. Also, it's I've always been raised to love Muhammad Ali because, my family, we honor him as a fan of boxing as well as being a social justice hero. So that's what I wrote, most of what I wrote in my essay.
And part of the Ali Scholars Program, as you just talked about, was social justice issues, those kinds of things. And you just got back from Peru,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the Peru trip.
Right.
Why'd you go to Peru, and what'd you learn there?
I went to Peru, other than being a scholar, I went to Peru with an open mind to learn about different issues rather than the ones that I know back here in America. We went to Peru to learn about social justice issues like the violence against LGBTQ people, or also in children violence as well. Well, not violence, but things about that in that nature. So when I went there, the best thing my best experience there was going to the slums. I don't know if that's the correct term to call them. Okay,
that's fine.
We went to the slums, which is in the outskirts of Lima, Peru, and the amazing thing about that is that all 13 of my colleagues, I would say, my partners in the organization, only 2 of us knew how to speak fluent Spanish, and some people from that group knew how to speak fluent English, but altogether we really didn't know how to communicate with each other, but we communicated through dancing, and that was amazing to just be able to communicate with people, just come together when we all have social justice issues and stuff like that. So it was amazing to do that.
From a different background, and that's
From a
exactly what
different-
Muhammad
yes.
Ali would have done
Yes.
if he couldn't speak the language. He probably
Yeah.
would have danced or feigned boxing with them, those kinds of
It
things.
was so wonderful.
That's
yes.
cool. We're talking to Cortez Flippins, who's a junior Ali scholar at the University of Louisville, and also with Enid Trucio Haynes, who is a law professor, but also the interim director of the Muhammad Ali Institute for Peace and Justice. Enid, what other things specifically do these Ali scholars do, like in the classroom, or do they have research things they have to do as part of this scholarship? What do they do on each semester?
Well, the first year of the program, which we just completed, involved weekly meetings where we talked about and had readings about different social justice issues. So we talked about LGBT issues, we talked about immigrant rights, we talked about the school-to-prison pipeline. We had a number of different events where local experts, leaders of community organizations came in and spoke to the students, as well as university professors who are experts in different areas. So we had an event featuring Cherie Dawson-Edwards. Dr. Dawson-Edwards is an expert on the school-to-prison pipeline, and she's in the criminal justice department, and was very influential in setting the tone for some of the work that we might consider in the coming year. Also, we have visited organizations as a group to see how they operate and how they're actually affecting change on the ground. As well, the students also were asked to visit different organizations in groups of 2 or 3 and report back to the group about what they learned. So students went to a number of different schools in our community, Newcomer Academy, for example, and we all went together to the Healing Place. And so we've had the opportunity to learn from those who are doing the work here in our community, also to visit as a group and understand more, have a holistic understanding of what's going on and what issues are of particular importance here. And so all of that provides the background, plus the international trip, to think about how the scholars can develop a project that will really have a lasting impact on our community.
And what's your project?
My
Cortez?
project, I haven't really decided, but I know I want to work with first-generation college students because that's
Are you a
what
first generation?
Yes, sir. I
Well,
am.
congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Very good. I
Thank
guess
you.
your family's very proud of you.
Yes, sir.
Good.
They are.
So, with a 3.5 GPA, you should be able to graduate,
Yes,
Cortez.
yes,
so
sir.
we're counting on you graduating.
I am. I'm
All
definitely
right.
am.
Very good. Go
Right.
ahead.
And each of the scholars has their own social justice area of interest. And so each of them will be writing a research paper about their area of interest, in addition to participating and working together collaboratively on a social justice change project here in our community. And at the end of this year, we hope to have a student conference where they will have an opportunity to present their research to our university community and showcase their excellent skills and also knowledge and passion about social justice issues. So we're excited about that as well.
So, Cortez, I guess you better figure out what your project is, huh?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Quick and
It's coming down the pathway here
Yes, sir.
pretty quick as the fall semester approaches.
Yes, sir.
Enid, what else, as far as faculty, what did the faculty do through the Ollie Institute? Because I think that was a portion of the original vision of the Ollie Institute, wasn't it, that the faculty would do research on social justice and other issues?
Absolutely. And so since I've been interim director, we have reconstituted a faculty research group, and we are involved in an original research interdisciplinary project involving investigating what cultural competency means on a university campus. We're involved in the first part of that project, assessing how faculty teach cultural competency and what they understand the definition to be for their different areas of discipline. And we have a group of about 13 different professors who are working on this project. We've worked together for about a year and a half on developing the research questions and the methodology for the project. And it's a very exciting opportunity for me to participate in this and lead this project, but also to bring together so many different faculty from across the university. So it's truly interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary, and an opportunity to investigate what cultural competency means in our setting, and then to expand that beyond the university setting.
All right. Well, before we leave, I got to ask both of you. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. So, what are the two of you that are tied to the Muhammad Ali Institute and the Ali Scholars Program? What are you going to do to try and carry on in the best way you know how the ideals of Muhammad Ali?
You want to go first? Okay. With me, I know that I'm going to get back to my own community. Just as I said at the beginning of the interview, I wanted to bring back the legacy to my neighborhood, because I feel like that's what we lost. That we lost that legacy with him being gone so long. I feel like that I want to carry on that legacy. So that's one. And also here on campus, I want to, like I said, I want to work with first generation college students, because I am one. I like to work with issues that I relate well with, because I know that I can put my passion in it. Not that I can't do with any other issue, but it's just, to me, it's just like I can give my complete and full attention to it because I went through it. So here on campus, I feel that that's one that's a real major issue to fight for, is with first generation college students. So
Very good.
That's two.
All right. Enid?
And I would say for me, I'm inspired by Muhammad Ali's conviction and commitment. And so I pledge to hope to inspire that in others, including the Ali Scholars and those who work with the Muhammad Ali Institute, and to have that as a guiding star for my work in the community and in all the work I do, as my area of interest and scholarship is immigration rights, and so that I will carry that conviction into my work there.
Well, let's hope the Ali Institute for Peace and Justice and the Ali Scholars Program do both of the things that you guys just talked about and continue to at the University of Louisville. All right.
Awesome.
Congratulations to both of you, and thanks for being on the show.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for
Cortez
having
Flippins.
us. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much.
Cortez Flippins and Enid Trucio Haynes from the University of Louisville. We've got a couple of special guests sitting in front of me, and the reason they're here is because the co-founder of AOL and one of the best-known people in the tech world is headed to Louisville and UofL. Steve Case will be here June 16th, and the two guys who work to get him here are Chuck Denny, who's the regional president of PNC Bank and a great friend to UofL, and David Adams, who's the new head of UofL's Institute for Product Realization. Welcome, gentlemen.
Good to be here.
Good to be here.
Good
Thank
to see you,
Mark.
Chuck. Haven't seen you in a little while.
Great to see you. Thank you.
Friend of the University of Louisville, and David, welcome to the campus.
It's great to
haven't
be
seen you
here.
since you've been here.
Absolutely.
When did you get to?
So I got here in January, just relocated from Indianapolis, and saw this phenomenal opportunity we got sitting in front of us in terms of the innovation and entrepreneurial environment that we've got here in Louisville, and wanted to be a part of it. So I'm really, really excited to be here. Excited what we're getting ready to do on June 16th, and I'm so excited about the opportunity that we have as a community and as a university to really move us all forward.
And we'll talk about the IPR a little bit more here
Certainly.
in just a second. And Chuck, you've been a great friend to the university for some time, worked on the $1 billion capital campaign. You were one of the co-chairs, as I recall that, correct? And,
Was, yes.
and,
It was very-
what else have you done with the university? What are your other ties to the University of Louisville?
I'm blessed to be involved in a number of projects here, both on several boards and just an active alumnus, and just I love the university. It's so important to our region's future. It's the engine that drives our city. At the heart of every great city is a great university, whether it's Georgia Tech and Emory in Atlanta or Washington University in St. Louis. UofL is that for our city. So it's we were founded in 1798. The city started in 1780. I'm not sure there's a closer relationship between a city and a university than what we enjoy here in Louisville.
All right. Well, let's talk about this event that's coming up here in a few days. Chuck, I think you were the guy that got the ball rolling on trying to get Steve Case here. Who is Steve Case, and why is he coming to Louisville?
Well, Steve Case is absolutely brilliant. He's an entrepreneur. He's a genius. He's a prolific creator of opportunity for the world. As a young man, he read in college Alvin Toffler's book, The Third Wave. At his university, it affected him so much that he wanted to get into the information age. Toffler talked about the changes from an ag economy to an industrial economy to an information economy, and he was pretty stricken by that, that this is something that he wanted to be involved with. He expressed that 5 years later when he developed AOL, America Online. Remember those days we had to sign on to the internet via
You've got
modems.
mail.
You've got mail, and so that was that business was his creation. It became commercially very feasible when certain legislation was passed in the 90s.
He made a couple of bucks.
He made a couple of bucks, and so he really helped put America online with the internet and affected how the world interacted with information. And I got to hear him speak about 3 years ago in Nashville, Tennessee, at a program called Rise of the Rest, which he has founded to highlight entrepreneurs in other cities around the country. And just being around this person, I said, we've got to get him to Louisville some way, somehow. And he was very interested in our city, our ecosystems here. We're a great maker community, a great place for ag and healthcare. And he was interested in Louisville already, so the paths converged, and we were able to bring him here. But he wanted to come here. And so on the 16th, it's all going to take place.
And so what's he going to be doing on the 16th? And both of you can talk a little bit about what's going on. But Chuck, why don't you start and just say what he's going to be doing here? And David, you can talk a little bit about what the tie to UofL is.
Oh, absolutely. So we're bringing him there'll be 5 events that he'll be speaking and addressing about 1,500 people, 11 to 1,500 people in our city, 5 distinct audiences. They will talk about the University of Louisville, which will be the first place that he visits that morning. There'll be a lunch afterwards with a venture capital community endeavor, Global Ventures, and Village Capital. That'll be at a restaurant downtown. After that, the mayor has an event with about 400 people visiting our community. We'll be giving a keynote address at that. We've got an event for Steve in the afternoon with a number of our clients at the IMAX Theater at the Science Center. And in the evening, GLI has an event at the PNC Club at Papa John's Cardinal Stadium for about 400 to 500 people.
All right, David Adams, what specifically is he going to be doing at the University of Louisville? What's he going to talk about, and what do you want him to see?
Well, a couple things. So we're going to be the only stop that day where you're actually going to be able to see a living example of the third wave. And so he's going to be able to illustrate technologies like advanced manufacturing technologies like additive and 3D printing. But we also have a third wave company that he's going to be able to illustrate as well in First Build. And so,
what's a third wave company?
Well, if you think about it, the first wave was really just the foundation of the internet. It was all the hardware and getting that infrastructure together. The second wave was really all about putting applications on top of that. And that's the things we use today, like Google or whatever it may be. The third wave is really all about connecting into the internet. And so if you think about it, we've got 6.5 billion devices that are connected to the internet today, and there's about 7 billion people in the world. So we're just about as connected as a globe as you can be. And so what you'll see at First Build is not just GE's spin out of an appliance manufacturer, but they are partnering with organizations all over the world to bring products to market at unprecedented speeds. And it's absolutely game-changing. And what they're doing here, you'd be hard-pressed to find few companies or few organizations anywhere in the world doing what we're doing here at the University of Louisville in Louisville, Kentucky.
And so he's coming to what building or what place is he going to?
So he's coming to the IPR, which is on 1960 Arthur Street.
You ought to tell people what the IPR is.
Absolutely. So we're the Institute of Product Realization, and what we're all about is creating an environment for startups to Fortune 500 companies that want to come in and take advantage of manufacturing technology and technology in itself, like big data, in an innovative environment. So we provide all kinds of resources to be able to support that, from students to faculty to advanced technologies like additive manufacturing we talked about, to smart sensors. There's a lot of products now that are being enabled with smart sensors all the way through big data. So we're creating this environment where organizations can come together to collaborate and to innovate. And if you take a look at what First Build's doing, they're taking what's traditionally a development cycle that's measured in years, and they're doing it now measured in months. So imagine as a business now that I can come into an environment and bring a product to market in days, weeks, or months, where traditionally it's taken me months or years or even decades. And so they're really applying these principles, which are all the third wave. And so it's this perfect storm and perfect example of everything that Steve Case embodies in his book.
So, Chuck, is the idea that we get Steve Case here and hopefully he'll invest in something, or is the idea to get him here just to inspire us and tell us we're a great entrepreneurial city?
Well, Mark, kind of both. So the third wave is a very disruptive event for the world's economy. As David was talking about, the second wave, we interacted with the internet. The first wave, we built it. The second wave, we interacted with it. The third wave, the internet interacts with everything. And so it's evidencing in companies today like Airbnb and Uber, which weren't even around 7 to 10 years ago, and they have market capitalizations in the $30 to $40 billion. Uber's the largest transportation company in the world. They don't own a single vehicle. Airbnb, the largest hospitality company in the world, they don't own a single hotel room. Those are examples of third wave companies, disruptive events and companies that can change the game on a industry and a company almost overnight. And so there's a great need to have awareness of this because it's happening. Mm-hmm. And you can either, as Steve says in his book, you can either ride the wave or you can be under the wave. And we want Louisville to be ahead of the game. Louisville's a great entrepreneurial city. We were built by entrepreneurs. It's in our DNA. And this just made sense to PNC to try to attract this very unique individual in the world to come to our city, to excite, to make us aware, to help us get ahead of this game, and to make sure that we're enabling as many of our citizens, our companies, our philanthropists, our opinion makers as possible to be educated and aware of what is happening around us, so we can benefit from this and actually become a leader in it.
And PNC is sponsoring this visit, the day-long visit by Steve Case, correct?
Yes, we are.
All right, very good. We're talking again with Chuck Denny, who's the regional president of PNC Bank and a great friend of UofL, and David Adams, the head of UofL's Institute for Product Realization. David, when we talk about the Institute for Product Realization at the University of Louisville, that is, as I understand it, an umbrella for several things that are underneath, including GE First Build, the AAMC building. Mm-hmm. What else is going to be in that under that umbrella of the Institute for Product Realization?
That's a great question. So think about the University of Louisville really having an innovation and entrepreneurial ecosystem for students, for faculty to be able to create and bring ideas and products to market. What we'll be able to do is, if you think about advanced manufacturing in this maker community that we live in, organizations of any size will be able to take advantage of these technologies. And a lot of these technologies they may or may not be aware of. So to build on Chuck's point about creating an awareness, we hope to engage the community to see the capabilities that exist and really engage them in what we're doing to take advantage of these particular technologies. So it's everything from what you see today, but there are other technologies like intelligent sensors. We're seeing products starting to proliferate and be engaged in everything we do, from sensors on air filters to sensors on refrigerators to how we enter a room and all that knowledge. Those capabilities and those technologies exist at the University of Louisville. So we really want to, really embrace the community to let them know and make them aware of what's available, and engage them to participate with us to be able to start these businesses, or if you're an existing business, to be able to engage them to take advantage of these technologies, because as Chuck pointed out as well, this is extremely disruptive. And so it's really important for organizations to learn about and take advantage of these technologies today to be able to further their efforts.
Mark, I just want to to amplify what David just said, because it's so important. And as it relates to the University of Louisville, so many things happen in our city because of advances, the science, the knowledge, the energy that the university generates, much like a Vanderbilt in Nashville. But what we have at the IPR is very unique in the country. It is a tremendous advantage for our city, for our region, to have the IPR, the first build operation, to have David Adams here. And the focus we have on commercializing our research in advanced manufacturing as well as the healthcare research, because going forward, this will define our community, like our community has always been boosted and moved forward by the intellectual knowledge, the resources that the University of Louisville provides. But to have this today at this time is a tremendous advantage for us.
Chuck, do you think, you've been in this community a long time, do you think that the average person on the street in Louisville has any clue about what's going on, not just at the IPR, but at the University of Louisville, and the unbelievable research, especially in the speed school, that's going on with the sensors and other things that David was talking about? Do you think most folks understand the depth of that that's going on?
I think people will become a lot more informed after the 16th. This is, I think Steve Case has something like 800,000 followers on Twitter, and this will be this day will be broadcast, not broadcast, but it will be talked about around the world. And so, like anything else, things happen at a pace. We just want to accelerate that pace of awareness. It's so important to our community and to the people in this community that certainly what's being provided by UofL and First Build and the IPR is a unique resource that we can leverage as a community to keep us ahead of the game. So to answer your question directly, probably not yet, but I think it's about to change.
Yeah, Mark, if I may
Go
just
ahead.
add to that, I see that as a big part of my role. I've been here a short period of time, but we're really going to take this message out into the community, into the region, into the world, and help them understand the capabilities that are happening at the University of Louisville. There are really a lot of special things going on here. We need to help people understand, one, what is going on here, and then two, how do they leverage and take advantage of these capabilities?
Well, David, let's suppose you're probably going to have a lot of time with Mr. Case on the 16th. What are you going to tell him?
Well, couple of things. One, see what we have. I want him to get a really good, firm understanding of what's going on here. And to build on Chuck's comment, I think it's really important that he takes this message out into the world. I think the one thing in terms of writing his book is there's not a lot of examples of third wave companies today. His book really talks about the future. The future is happening right now at the University of Louisville. So we really hope that part of this is he can see this environment and then take this message out to others to help bring and leverage them into what we're doing here at the University of Louisville in Louisville, Kentucky.
All right, Chuck, what about you? What are you going to tell them?
Well, I think that Dave is an exceptional spokesman for the University of Louisville. This is the place to come. We are a city of makers, of inventors, of builders, of dreamers, of people that just accomplish great things and execute so very well. We play above our weight as a city. And we should be a city that attracts the best and the brightest from all over the world to come and live and create, live out their dreams, and create opportunities for the citizens of this community. And I think that's what I'm going to try. That's the message I want to impart to Steve.
Very good. All right. Anything else we need to add? I guess reiterate the June 16th date. Steve Case making several stops around the city, including one at the University of Louisville. Big deal, isn't it?
It is a
It
very
is.
big deal.
Yeah. Thanks, Mark.
Well, thanks to both of you for putting it together.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right. Chuck Denny, David Adams, appreciate you being on the show. We always try and wrap up these shows. The last 30 minutes, we've talked about issues. We always try to wrap up with a little bit of trivia about the University of Louisville. So, did you know, since we're talking about innovation and entrepreneurship, did you know that U of L alumnus George Shupp was the co-founder of Stairmaster, which was introduced in 1983? Either one of you know that?
Did not know that.
Nope. Now you know. As always, we thank you for listening to U of L Today with Mark Hebert on 93.9 The Ville, and go Cards.